Hello and welcome, my name is Defined Disaster, this is Battlefield 1, and in today's video we are talking Defined Disaster 2.0, or at least Stage 1, which is now complete. Upcoming changes, already present changes, future content as well. But before we get into all that nice nitty-gritty detail, just a couple of quick bits of information, important information for those of you who are time limited. First thing I wanted to tell you guys is that there will be an event happening for the 1000 sub milestone that we reached. More information on that event, what it is, when it will happen, how you can join in on the fun will be present both on Twitter and of course this channel towards the end of this week. I just wanted to notify you guys that something will be happening and that I haven't of course forgotten it. Furthermore, as to the video schedule this week, because we're starting on Wednesday instead of Monday, I really had to finish up the stuff that I was working on for this channel, so sadly there was no video for Monday. It's going to kind of be messed up this week, so we'll probably only have two main content videos. However, the first one of those is coming out today. It's going to be a weapon review, so stay tuned for that. And last but not least, as already somewhat mentioned, Defined Disaster is now on Twitter, so definitely hit me up there, follow me there for the latest news and developments on this channel on Battlefield, or if you just want a simple and easy way to get in touch with me, give me your feedback on a video, or if you want to communicate a video suggestion, that's probably the best way going forward. With that out of the way then, let's move on to the first big chunk of information that I wanted to talk about in today's video, and that is stage one of my little project this summer, redesigning, redeveloping Defined Disaster and what it entails. Now, stage one has been and always was going to be mainly graphical, which means new logo, new intro, new outro, more legible thumbnails, clearer visuals, etc. Most of that you have of course already seen once this video ended. Another thing I wanted to improve on was the quality of the videos on YouTube, how they're processed by YouTube, the compression element of it, because it's really a shame when I look at my videos once they're edited and they're from crisp 1440p 60 frames per second, beautiful, and I upload them to YouTube and it's just pixel dog shit even on 1080p. I sadly haven't been able to figure out how to get a little bit more love from the YouTube compression system, and I spent a couple of very long nights trying to figure this out, and I really just couldn't manage to do it. So if you're an expert when it comes to YouTube video codecs and compression processing, hit me up and tell me how I can get my content, especially in 1080p, to look a little less shit. However, what I have done to somewhat compensate for this or get around this, what I will be doing, starting of course with today's video, is starting to upload again in 1440p 60 fps. The problem with 60 fps 1440p is that it's not available on all browsers, on all devices, but if you have a mobile that supports the VP9 codec, or you're browsing on Google Chrome, you have a browser that supports VP9 codec, you can now once more watch my videos in 1440p 60 frames per second. Even if you don't have a 1440p device, 1440p screen, I'd still recommend it if your screen is a little bit larger, because the videos will still look better even if it's only a 1080p or even a 720p screen, because YouTube just essentially compresses the video less because the original file is in 1440p. Now, stage one of my update process hasn't been uniquely solely graphical. There's actually been some content updates as well, and this is what I want to talk about at this point in time. The weapon review, weapon showdown content that I put out has been a staple part of my content since my Battlefield 4 days. It's probably also the most popular series, at least the weapon reviews and weapon showdowns are usually very popular with you guys, the viewers, and as such it was the first series that I wanted to update. Now, not only have I updated the graphics, made it all look a little bit nicer, a little bit slicker, I've also tried to improve on the base format. So while previously when we did weapon reviews we'd focus on one gun and one variant of that weapon, I've taken what was originally a suggestion for a new video series by Nathan Grimmett, a long-time subscriber of mine, shout out to you at this point, and combined it with the existing weapon reviews. So now weapon reviews are not going to focus on just one variant of any given weapon, but on one weapon and all of the available variants, unless those variants are so different from the others that they really can't be considered just variations of each other, but instead are almost two different weapons for all intents and purposes. An example I can think of is the M1903 Experimental, which is essentially a glorified pistol with extended magazine when it comes to its practical application, which really is silly to compare to the M1903 Sniper, which is a long-range orientated bolt-action rifle with a one-shot kill potential at longer ranges. So in those situations, I will be making exceptions, but generally weapon reviews will now always look at all available variants of each weapon, and you'll see later in today's video where we're going over the Automatico that this will add, in my opinion, quite a bit to the format and give you guys quite a bit more information. Now, because this is different from the old way weapon reviews works, and a lot of the stats have changed since I made many of my original weapon reviews for Battlefield 1, essentially I'm resetting the counter as to what weapons we have or have not covered. This comes at a quite practical timing actually, because we've covered almost all of the weapons currently in the game anyway, and this way I can essentially provide you an updated version of a weapon review as well as covering variants of weapons that we previously didn't really touch on. With stage 1 then being covered, what about stage 2? Well, as to stage 2, that focuses on improving content more, but also on new content. In my video where I asked for your feedback, which you guys provided in heaps, very thankful for that, I mentioned wanting to branch out a little bit, maybe cover some other games alongside Battlefield 1. And obviously the first game that everybody shouted or wrote in the comments to me, as I also mentioned in my video, was Star Wars Battlefront 2. And while I can't confirm 100% that that is happening, it's certainly currently on the top of the list. Now, as to what content you'll see outside of Battlefield 1 in the coming months from me on this channel, I'm keeping that somewhat in a mystery. It's not only not quite finalized or decided yet, but there will be new content outside of the Battlefield franchise on this channel by the end of the year at the latest. I'm going to take my time with this, not rush anything, see what content really works with this channel. Star Wars Battlefront 2 probably being currently the best contender. I've also been sent other suggestions and I will be considering or already have considered all those suggestions. So at this point in time, if you have any additional games you'd like me to play on this channel you think would work well with this channel, with this existing audience, feel free to hit me up on Twitter. Feel free to leave it down below in the comments. I am, of course, as always, listening. As to new content within the sphere of Battlefield 1, well, I've got a couple of ideas. I've got a couple of things I may be working on, but as of now, there's nothing new just yet. I'm going to spend the next couple of weeks, next couple of months, trying to improve the remaining formats that currently are successful, as well as pushing some other formats that we already have that have recently been added. One, of course, being the map guides. There are a lot of work and there's still plenty of room for me to improve on them, but it's one of the series I really want to put some effort into. Live commentaries is also something I'd like to put a little bit more effort, and I've got a couple of changes in mind. I have to talk to a couple of people to see if we can make some things happen. So stay tuned for all this. There will be changes to existing content. There will be changes and new content coming up eventually. So much I'm willing to promise to you. There will be a video on this channel before the end of this year, and if it is the 31st of December that I finally get round to it, on a game that is not Battlefield 1. Now, I would love to hear your opinion on all of what I've discussed in today's video, as well as, of course, your usual video suggestion, content suggestion. Your feedback is always greatly appreciated. Feel free to leave it down below in the comments or hit me up on Twitter. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And with all that being said, I'd like to thank you very much for watching and hope to see you in the next Battlefield 1 video.